What's going on? My name's Amy. Welcome to the channel. I'm officially entering June as a 7-month trader. And my journey has been documented on this channel since month 3. And I am freaking excited to share this video with you today. And it's the funniest thing. Have you ever felt as excited as I look about a red day? Woo! It's crazy breakthrough that I'm going to share with you guys today. In spite of circumstances that did not necessarily go my way, I'm going to explain what was different about today, why this loss is showing me an insight into my day trading future, and why I think it's so beneficial that you go back to the basics, trade small, find your strategy, and work your way up from there. Because I'm just ready, y'all. I'm ready for the next level. Let's first of all, before I announce anything or whatever, I just want to say thank you to all the people that are spreading the love in the comments, the encouraging words, the shares, the people that are willing to share like I do, like, wins, losses, what's been going on, what they're dealing with. It's just such an emotional journey. Like, it's so helpful and encouraging to know you're not alone in this, because it feels so isolating sometimes when you're trading by yourself and you're in your little bubble, wherever you trade from, work, office, home, phone, wherever it is. But there's a tendency to feel like, you have to celebrate your wins by yourself, losses by yourself, the struggles by yourself. And, what's kind of great about YouTube and the comments and stuff is that people can come in and share all that, like that they're going through like I am. And so thank you guys. And thank you for the encouragement. Thank you, Trader Gil and Eduardo, for the donations to the channel. Much love for that. Announcements. Amy's Trading Tribe. We just crossed 400 members today. Woohoo! An amazing, fun, great positive vibe in there. If you are not on Telegram, it's not super hard to sign up to it. Just make sure you give them a valid phone number, and you can sign up down the link down below for free, description or in the comments section. And basically we start gathering together in the mornings pre-market, just before 4 a.m. my time. I'm usually popping in there about 5:15, 5:30, but I'm going to try to tweak things where I can try to get in maybe 5 a.m. my time, which is 8 Eastern, and try to get up earlier. Trying. Y'all, it's so early on the West Coast. Okay. So that's what's going on in the tribe. Y'all come trade live with us if you want support, accountability. People are calling out stocks. We're jumping on things together. The other thing is my day trading resources down below, which is a compilation of anything that's helped me on this journey thus far. So videos, books, things like that. You can access that list for free. I'm constantly updating it as well. So feel free to check it out, bookmark it, and it's down below. And today, Monday, was my first day using the emotions tracker for traders. So I got my pretty chart sheet here, and this was helpful. Granted, guys, this is a thing I'm offering for sale, and I'm not trying to scam anybody or anything like that. I'm using this myself. This is for my own selfish purposes to have my assistant create for me. And if you guys want to trade like I am right now, feel free to check the link down below. Getting into the first and only trade of the day was MINM, okay? Couple of things I'll say to sort of frame today is, number one, I am in Ross Cameron's trial right now with Warrior Trading. So I am watching him trade live in the mornings, and he's typically done for the day by 7 a.m. My time, 10 a.m. Eastern. So I was watching him for about an hour and 45 minutes today trade, and by the time I get on at 5:15 my time, he's up $260 some thousand. So I kind of felt like today was a day that if I had been able to trade that 5 a.m. hour, which East Coast is 8 a.m., I might have had a different story to tell today. And so I'm going to make adjustments on my schedule and try to start doing that. By the time I get, to the charts, he's made most of his gains for the day, like almost all of it, right? And he's in this trade. Now, I made a decision in the moment to trade what Ross was trading when it came to a pullback, which it did, because it shot all the way up at one point to like 950, I think was its high. I got in on a pullback at 840. And I had a bracket order set up in Thinkorswim. So pre-market, you can set up bracket orders. You can do your buy order and your sell take profit order. You just can't do a stop loss. So looking at the chart, I was like, okay, I know where I want to get out if things go south. And it was close to $1 difference because the candles on the 1 minute average true range, they were spiky. They were huge. And I was like, 20 share size I'm trading now, y'all. And I was like, $20, right? Let's go for it. So I get in and the trade starts to go red immediately. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to go my way. I kind of felt like, okay, it's, here we are. It's the time I got in was what did I write here? I think it says 5:55. My scribble just went way off the page here. And this was a trade I was in way too long, not so much my fault. What ended up happening is when I saw things were going south, I was like, well, time to execute my mental stop. And I was trying to get out at 8:40, 7:45, 7:55, somewhere in there. I was like actually trying to get out. I had hit cancel on my sell, take profit order. So to best of my knowledge, I didn't have any open orders, right? And I go to sell on the bid and nothing happens. The order sits like on my Thinkorswim desktop, level 2 area. You can see like where your order is on the books, right? I don't know. It just sat there and I'm like, what's going on? Trying to get out, it's further going south. And make a long story short, I thought I cleared each time. This has happened multiple times where I tried to sell at the bid and then it wasn't going through. And then it was like rejecting my order, trying to tell me I was trying to short it and oversell. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm in the position. I see 20 shares in, and I couldn't see any open orders. Like it was very bizarre. What ended up happening was finally like the 4th attempt, I decided to, on Thinkorswim, I've told you guys in the past, I use the buttons, right? I don't do hotkeys because I just don't feel confident about that right now. I use the buttons to exit trades quickly because most of the time I'm putting in a bracket order and the only thing I got to do is kick myself out of the trade if things go south. Otherwise, I stay in the trade and I let it hit my take profit or I adjust. So the bailout situation was sell on the bid, right? You think that's right, the most logical thing. You can't sell at the market. If you're stuck in a trade, you can't sell at the market in pre-market. It doesn't work. And for whatever reason, the order, like I said, sat, and then it tried to tell me I was, trying to oversell or something. So I called Schwab to try to figure this thing out. I really got no great answer. I don't know if it was some platform glitch or what have you. By the time I actually get filled, what I ended up doing was I ended up splitting my order in half. I sold 10 shares. I was like, let me just try to get rid of 10. To me, I'm like, 20 is not a lot, right? Like, what are we talking here? The stock was very liquid, 1 million shares volume, and spread was a little high. It was like 20 some cents, 30 cents, but I got in just, knowing my risk. And for whatever reason, like I said, didn't work. Finally get out, 10 shares at 680. Sorry guys, my scribble is really bad today. I was like trying to put all this down. I think it was 680 and 684 where I had to do 10 and then 10 more to finally get out. And I was like telling Schwab, like, well, what am I supposed to do in that situation? Like you guys aren't selling it on the bid, then yeah. So not great answers from them. They looked into it. I'll give them that, tried to figure out what the deal was. I said, I see my rejection orders. I see where I canceled my take profit orders, so it shouldn't even have gotten to the point where it rejected me so many times. So I'm not sure what happened there. At the end of the day, I take full responsibility. Okay, this is something that I, as a person, am learning on my own life journey, is that I am responsible. It was my decision to get in this trade. It was my decision to do what Ross was doing. Of course, he's out at a certain profit, or no, excuse me, he lost on this one. Go figure. All the other winning trades he had today, I take the one that he loses 12 grand on. And as he's exiting the trade, that's when I was trying to exit too. I was like following the level 2, not seeing anything good, following the chart, not seeing anything good. I performed to the best of my abilities in the moment. Now, what was the breakthrough here? Okay, like what changed the freaking game today? Let me share one other thing before I get into that. So on my little tracker, I have these check boxes, and you can put like before what emotions you're feeling, during the trade what emotions you're feeling, and after. So in before, Amy takes full responsibility for recognizing that she was feeling anxiety because things were moving so fast, and I did want to get in on the pullback. I didn't get in like way at the top, thankfully, but anxious because I'm following a plan that isn't fully laid out. Like I knew where my mental stop was, I knew where my entry was, but I just threw this stock up on Thinkorswim without doing a lot of looking at it myself, and things were just happening very quickly. So perhaps if I had taken just a little bit more time getting into this trade, I would have had the calm peace of mind to recognize, maybe I don't want to get into a trade that's got such a big spread. And maybe I've missed the move. Maybe I need to wait and even though there's a pullback, maybe it's sketchy, right? Considering that these average true range candles were so wide, that would be another reason to have been like, no, not a great trade. I put the 10-second chart also when I did have time to pull that up over here. That looked initially slightly thinly traded. Now, granted, Ross is jumping in right as it's making its first moves, right? So of course, this stock would look a little thin because nothing was happening until bam, right at almost 6 a.m. for my time. This is news and stuff's happening, right? So that's what was going on before. During the trade, couldn't get out, obviously. Spreads were thick. Don't really know why sell at the bid didn't work. It's supposed to, on Thinkorswim, it's supposed to execute when you hit send, because I didn't have auto send on, I had actual confirmation box. When you hit send, it's supposed to bring the bid price, whatever when you hit that button send, it's supposed to be like, oh, well, the bid is currently X. Now we're going to sell it at the bid. For whatever reason, it didn't work. So during, I put tense was my emotion. Just a little, right? After, here's the freaking breakthrough, y'all. After this trade, carefree. What have I been saying all last week since 2 weeks ago, actually, maybe 3 weeks now? There's a mantra I've been adapting, using, working, and it's, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And the amazing breakthrough about this situation this day was I ended up losing $31.60 on this trade, which is significantly more than most of my previous trades that were losses because I'm now trading with 20 share size instead of 10 or 2. And in the past, when I would try to jump, when I would try to scale up, like I'm doing well, trading small and I try to scale up, if I had a loser that was a significant loss right in the beginning of trying to scale, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I can't scale yet. This is too much. I got to go back down to trading small because I felt the loss. I felt like, oh my, like this is a painful situation, right? Again, it's not a ton of money, but it's not really about the money. It's about the attachment to the money, right? The energetic connection you have when you say, I'm in this trade. I'm now energetically invested, right? Whether it goes my way or it doesn't, your attachment to that trade and that outcome is all of a sudden like you're clinging to it. So if it goes your way, you're like, woohoo, great, emotions, high, yay. If it doesn't go your way, sad, depressed, pissed off, angry, right? All that comes up. So the fact that I honestly answered on that sheet, carefree, like, what else did I write? Papers everywhere here. I've got my section on the back here, or another page, of what went well and what to improve. And I'll share on the what went well, I feel great. Like, crap happens, I'm not attached. The amount of freeing feeling that I felt after this trade, and it completely lasted all morning, because this is hours ago. Honestly, it's hard to put into words, because for so long, the bondage to money, losing money, fear of losing money, fear of being actually up in a trade and trying to hold on to the money, all of that seems to have flown out the window. Like, hit the road, Jack. Don't go back. That feeling of what I used to experience in a loss has left. And I really hope that you listening, can get to this place. And I wish there was a way to just send that to you so that you can experience it as well. Because what this tells me is that on this journey to becoming a profitable day trader, I now know, as I continue to scale, when it is appropriate, I'm not going to scale tomorrow, right? But when it's appropriate, I will not suffer these feelings that I used to suffer through of loss, emotional attachment, the despair, the discouragement, the feeling of there was a moment after this trade, I will say, where I thought, dang, I gotta, maybe make that up somehow. Maybe I find another good trade to get in at the open, and then I was like, put the brakes on that. And I was like, what did I just tell myself? And y'all heard me in the last couple of videos that historically and statistically, the kind of trades I look for, momentum, I tend to lose money after the open. If I try to look for that setup, I tend to not get the great setup that I would get in the pre-market. So there's really no reason for me to attempt another trade. Because here it is, by the time I get out of this thing, it's 6:10 or 6:11 or something, 9:10, 9:11. And of course, I'm not going to jump into a trade right before the opening bell. So I just watch the charts after that. I put the brakes on the whole idea of trying to make the money back, because what does that indicate? That indicates freaking revenge trading. If I had entertained that idea any further, that would have been revenge trading, number one. Number two, the feeling of having to make up the loss, which puts an immense burden on you, especially when you take a loss that's bigger than normal, right? Because what does that mean? You got to take another risk on another trade that's bigger than normal in order to make up for the bigger than normal loss you just experienced, right? It just opens you to exposure, and it's a scary, slippery slope, y'all. Okay, so great things here. What to improve? I think at one point when I was in the Thinkorswim, active trader window, and thinking I, had canceled my take profit order. Perhaps at this point I actually, had another one or had this other lingering order out there somewhere for the reasons of these rejections. I should have stayed on the active trader window with the big buttons and hit cancel all. Just hit it however many times I need to hit it, because I think if you have nothing open, if I'm not mistaken, if you have nothing open, like lingering orders, then that button will actually be grayed out. I know it's grayed out when I'm not in a trade. I'm not 100% sure if I have no open orders, but I'm in a trade, if that button's grayed out. Somebody let me know if you happen to know. But that would have been the best option when it was giving me trouble to try to get out on the bid. What I was doing for some reason was, well, I know why. I was going to the monitor tab on Thinkorswim, which shows you any working orders, which means anything that's still open, whether it's a buy or a sell order, that's where it actually shows the orders. And I would go in there, sometimes, yes, there was something sitting there. And I'm like, okay, cancel. Now, granted, when I thought I was canceling, there might be a two-step part of that where you have to hit cancel and then delete. There's a two-step confirmation. It doesn't automatically cancel just because you hit cancel. However, on the active trader tab, it does have a, are you kind of sure? Like it says cancel and it says, do you want to, yes or no? And at that point, I think if I really wasn't in any open position or wasn't in any open orders, then that would have not even been available. And so I would have known for sure instead of looking at the monitor, which whatever, hindsight, right? And then I could have used flatten, but that's incorrect. I couldn't have used flatten. It's an option on Thinkorswim to exit all positions immediately. Problem is, what that actually does is it sells you at the market, and you can't sell at the market in pre-market. So I still am not entirely sure of plans of action other than directly calling Schwab and be like, get me out of this trade if this were to happen again. Now I did ask the guy on the phone about, what do you do? Because I said, I'm pretty sure when I hit sell on the bid and it sat, like the order sat, that for some reason I wasn't actually seeing it in the middle section of my charts where it should be that you can drag and drop. Now, if it did show, I could have dropped it and tried to just move it down just to get it out of this queue or whatever it was stuck in. And then maybe it would have just sold me at whatever the bid was at that point. Not as low as what I dropped it to, but just somewhere lower. So that's kind of my fail-safe for the future. And just limitations of using Thinkorswim, y'all. This is the first time this ever happened to me. I've always been able to sell in the bid, no problem. So I really am just like... I get that the first time I tried to sell in the bid, the order sat, and then I must have had still some freaking open working order for that to keep rejecting. I don't know. Anyways, today was a good day, y'all. Today was a good freaking day, because in the past, I guarantee you, had I taken a $31 loss, I would have been like moping around, sad, going to the gym, like all pissed off and everything. I'm at the gym, I'm like, man, I'm hitting breakthroughs. I'm going to the next level. And the fact that I can feel that way after a loss says so much to me, because I know I'm on my way. I know I'm on my freaking way. And I thank you guys for, tuning in, for liking, subscribing, commenting, sending the love, positive, encouragement. It means like so much, seriously. Because like I said in the beginning, this is a very solo journey sometimes, and you're like, I'm just trying to make it through. Now, quick kind of end recap to this video. Some people were asking, how are you enjoying Ross's trial program with Warrior Trading? I'm going to just give a couple of quick, things about it and say kind of where I'm at so far. So I signed up I want to say it was Wednesday. So I haven't done a full week yet, even. It's 2 weeks. There's some things I like. Pros. Okay, so pros, you get access to his day trade dash. So all the scanners. There's definitely been stocks popping up on these scanners that I have not seen on the free ones. So I use on the free side when I'm trading, without Ross's stuff, I'm using Momo free scanner. Occasionally I'm using Zendu on YouTube. I haven't been on that as much lately. And then I've been using Trade Life Mastery, which is a beta website that you can get the scanners for. And it was like good enough, right? Using these. But like I said, some of the stuff that Ross is jumping in on, I only see on his scanners. I don't know why. Whatever, it's just faster or different, however, I don't know. So that is a plus, to be able to see things happening that most people aren't seeing unless they have super dialed in software. The other thing I like is he is really, really good about when he's in a trade, because I feel like this would be really hard for me to do. When he's in a trade, as soon as he's like about to get in, he's saying like what stock he's in, he's showing what stock, he's got his charts up, he's narrating. So he's telling you step by step, like I'm getting in at X, I'm holding for the break of X, I'm adding at X, I'm taking some profit off the table, I'm waiting for the break of 9, it's not happening, I'm gonna go ahead and exit here, I got half my position. Like, really, really good at that. And it helps. And that's kind of what I was like following along with today, getting into this MINM trade or whatever. And I just, I appreciate that he's detailed like that. That's very helpful. The other thing I liked about watching him trade live is you really get a sense of how does this guy, who is in the top 1% of day traders, profit, right? How does he think, and how does he act, and how does he react to when things are going his way or not going his way? What is impressive to me is how even keel his emotions are. How it's like a calm surface of the water. I've only watched him for a few days, but I've not seen him ever any kind of flare up of emotion, panic mode, or exciting. I mean, can you imagine like being up $263,000 is where I entered watching him this morning. And the dude's just like watching the charts, getting in the next trade. Here I am getting in, blah, blah, and just like I mentioned in my tribe, I was like, I'd be like jumping up and down, running around the house, woohoo! I'd take the whole month off. like I would be totally different. And that is why he's a professional and I'm not there yet. I really thought it was cool that you get a sense of how this guy executes at such a high level, and today I got to really see him in a losing trade, which I was into. And it was very interesting. He just knows where he's going to get in and out. He sticks to the parameters. And he doesn't overstay his welcome even on the losers. He takes some profit as he's going up. Sometimes as he's going up also, by the way, he will take everything off the table if there's a significant pullback. He takes everything, and then he goes back in. So sometimes you see him like with these stats of trading 15 trades a day. Well, that's why. Because he's in and out, in and out, in and out. I think one of the times I counted, he was in and out like 4 times of a certain stock. He's just that fast too. I wouldn't try to be like that. I'm like in and out once is good enough for me. Maybe twice if I'm feeling great. But yeah, okay. So those are some of the pros of what I'm enjoying thus far. Cons. It's super challenging, as y'all know, being on the West Coast, trying to get in there when things are starting. And I did it like one day where I got in right after 4 a.m. my time, 7 a.m. his time. What I wish was different was that he had the recordings of the live stream available for me to go back and watch. Because I'm missing, 1 hour to 90 minutes sometimes, depending on my functional abilities up here in the morning, to be able to sit down and just trade and watch. And so I thought initially getting into the trial that I would be able to go back and watch his replays, but apparently that's only available if you buy the Warrior Pro package, which is the high-end package, right? Then you get access to the replays. So at the trial level, nada. At the starter level, I don't even know, it's like $700. Nada. Okay. So a little frustrating because it's like, okay, not everybody's on a great time zone to trade with, so it'd be great if we could rewatch your stuff, dude. Okay. So, yeah, that's another thing. The other con I kind of feel is like, and maybe this is a pro, you know, and I'm just looking at it wrong because I kind of thought about this the other day, that because he's so calm and cool and collected about making crazy amounts of money or losing crazy amounts of money, it's almost like he's so far removed from where most beginner traders are, heck, most traders in general, that it can almost seem like he's talking to you from this very, very high vantage point. Not saying he's talking down to you, but that he's talking in a way that maybe he forgot what it's like to trade very small, what it's like when you're just starting. Because dude's been trading for what? Like, he's been on YouTube for a decade. I think he's been trading somewhere north of 15, 20 years. So for him to kind of like even remember what it's like for us people just figuring this out, learning our way, what is it like trading small? I think he's very much removed. So you have to kind of consider that when you watch him trade live, and you know, I got a taste of this today by being in a trade that he was in, and I was just, you know, just wasn't going well. That you have to think, okay, Ross is super fast, in and out, in and out, in and out. Hotkeys, knows what he's doing. He has a very quick broker. He pays, you know, way more in commissions for that purpose, but he more than makes up for it. And you gotta be careful trying to trade like him as he's trading live. And maybe that's kind of one of the things that I felt this morning was like, you know, maybe just should have sat back and watched that one. Or waited for a significant pullback. You know, I told you I got in at 840 when the high of the day was 950. It was one of those things. It just didn't go my way. But at the same time, because I'm trying to watch him and, you know, like, okay, this is another trade. Like, let's get it. You know, you can fall into that trap of mirror trading. You know, it kind of happened. And I'm like, ooh, like, no, I'm not going to do that again. So just keep those things in mind, guys. Kind of my conclusions right now, if anybody's, you know, curious, like, am I going to join the starter program? Am I join the pro program? My conclusions at this moment in time is no to both, because I feel like I've gotten so much value. Props to him, Ross, for giving so much good content on YouTube. Like even just the video he put out over the weekend about level 2, so much good content for free. Like amazing. Love it. There's still so many videos on his channel I have yet to go through. So I would rather devote my energies and study time to going through that stuff, because he actually does organize it in a very nice, easy way to go through the channel, right? Now, in regards to paying for anything else, you know, I do see the value, okay? And maybe this is a little bit out there, a little woo-woo or something. I do see the value in paying for 1 or 2 months of his live stream only, which I think is like $199 a month, because I like being an observer. I feel like the success, you know, like leaps and things that I've had personally have come directly right after events, seminars, conferences, being around people that are killing it, okay, in whatever, you know, thing I was studying at the time, business related, entrepreneurial related, whatever. I greatly value the ability to observe people in their habitat and just doing their thing. Does that mean I'm going to trade exactly like him? No. No. We've clearly seen that, you know. But I think it's very valuable for me to pick up some of the mindset stuff, some of the habits, some of the things that he's talking through for 1 to 2 months. You know, just give it a whirl. And that way I'm not, you know, investing tons of money into a program or anything. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, guys. So anyways, let's wrap this up. Come join Amy's Trading Tribe on Telegram, free down below. Great group of traders. Check out my day trading resources if you want to Got the last page here. If you want to track your trades like I am for the month of June, feel free to check the link down below as well. See you on the next video. Take care.